This is Frank Krug, and you're listening to Pro Lacrosse Talk.
On Schreiber.
Sidearm win, scores!
Now it's one. Fidel scores! Hands off for Rabel, switches hands and scores!
Carly O'Miller showing off those shifty skills.
Right off the bat, there's Lyle Thompson!
Welcome to Season 2 of the Pro Lacrosse Talk podcast, the voice of Pro Lacrosse. I'm Hutton, he's Adam, and together we're bringing you interviews from all your favorite players and coaches, as well as news and analysis from all 4 professional lacrosse leagues. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Pro Lacrosse Talk podcast. I'm Hutton Jackson. Today I'm joined by Frank Krug, long stick midfielder with the Philadelphia Barrage, the NCAA's all-time leader in college turnovers, and former DeSales Bulldog. We're also joined by his coach of 4 years at DeSales and my former coach, Coach Matt Brancaccio. First off, thank you guys for joining. I'm excited. It's going to be a DeSales episode today. Excited to talk about your latest contract, Frank. You're the first DeSales lacrosse player to go pro. We're going to kind of, talk about your career a little bit, talk about, Coach B, kind of you're seeing his development over the 4 years, and overall kind of just, take a trip down memory lane since sales is near and dear to my heart. But to start, Frank, you went to LaSalle High School. You weren't really heavily recruited. You played JV for 3 years before going varsity your senior year. Talk about, though, why you felt like you weren't done playing lacrosse yet.
A big reason why I wasn't really done, I that third year getting the notification that I would be on JV again was really hard for me, and I actually didn't know if I wanted to keep playing. That's kind of maybe the reason why I didn't try to get so heavily recruited. But the big reason was that my coach that year, Pat Lake, and he saw something in me and he believed in me. And he encouraged me to stay on JV and push it out one more year and give it my all my senior year. And that year was really big for me. Not only I had a great time with everybody, but he taught me so much between leadership and hard work and perseverance that carried over for me for my next couple years through into college. So he's a big reason why. It's an
interesting story too, because you actually weren't recruited by DeSales. You were a walk-on. So Coach B, tell a little bit about that story of how Frank reached out, how you guys connected, and then he ultimately, came on the team freshman year.
Yeah, so in the summertime, the recruiting circuit, I think it was one of the last recruiting events of the year. I was sitting next to an Eastern assistant and their rival in our conference, as you guys well know. And he goes to me, you guys, you have the starting LSM from LaSalle coming to DeSales next year. And I was like, no, we didn't recruit anybody from LaSalle. Like, we don't have any. He was like, no, I'm telling you, you have the starting LSM from LaSalle going to DeSales. And I was like, really? I was like, I didn't know that. Like, and he was like, yeah, like, I'm close friends with his family. Like, we tried to get him to come to Eastern so bad, but they didn't offer academically what DeSales could offer. He's going to DeSales just to be a student. And I was like, that's really interesting. I'm going to reach out to him right away. And this was a Saturday at a recruiting event. Monday, when I had gotten into the office, I go to the computer, I turn it on, I go to my email to write Frank an email, and sure enough, he's the first person in my inbox emailing me, talking about how his playing career. He sent me a highlight tape and showing interest in our program. And I watched the highlight tape, and I was like, oh man, we got something special here. And I called Coach Vaccaro, was our graduate assistant at the time. I called him into the office. I was like, watch this highlight tape. And he was like, who is that? I was like, he's coming to sales next year. He wants to play lacrosse. So yeah, it was definitely different for us as coaches to get a walk on with talent like Frank has. But it was cool.
Yeah, non-lacrosse wise, Frank, talk about what drew you, I guess, to DeSales, academically, and then talk about that first interaction, when you stepped into the office and Coach Vaccaro and Coach B were there, and talking to them and kind of, their vision for your career at DeSales.
Yeah, so initially going to DeSales, I was going for the nursing program. They had a really good medical program, not just nursing. I originally wanted to go for the medical science program there, but I was like 1 point off on my SAT. And I had a really great first year there academically, so I changed to biology in order to pursue becoming a doctor. But that first interaction that I had with them, first of all, I couldn't find his office. I was like walking around with forever trying to find him. And then he came out and found me. And then I walked in, and McCurry was sitting there. And McCurry's like big guy, and I thought he was Coach B's bodyguard at first, but which was really funny. But it turned out to be a great. I'm still really close with Coach Brancaccio, and he taught me a lot in my first year. That was his only year as the DA for me, but he was great in my time there. He taught me so much, and to this day, we're still pretty close, and we talk very often.
Frank, I don't know if you know this, but that first interaction we had when you came into the office, Frank was a lot skinnier back then. He's put on a lot of weight, but he comes into the office, real skinny kid, curly hair. His hair was a little bit longer, and he leaves the office. Coach Brancaccio turns to me and goes, "There's no way that kid is in that highlight tape."
Yeah, putting Coach Brancaccio on notice. I like it. But you were the same kid. You had a lot of success your freshman year, and throughout your career. As I mentioned earlier, you are the NCAA leader in college turnovers with 226, despite a shortened senior season. What about your game, has allowed you to be so dominant at the college level? And then also, how did your game progress from your freshman to senior year?
Coach Brancaccio really started with me, really implementing stuff, like watching film, different little tricks he had. Brancaccio wasn't bad himself at taking the ball away, but he also played more position too. But even all of his tricks kind of helped me. But more over than anything, it's the mindset that I had, I think, my 4 years. And I think my mindset just got stronger and I gained more confidence. Like just thinking and going out every day in practice or every game, thinking I was better than the other person and that they weren't going to beat me and that I was going to get the ball no matter what. Like if they got past me, I was going to run, like catch up to them and take the ball away from them. Or if they were dodging me, they're not getting by me. Just like the whole mindset, I think is what really helped me. And then just a little tips and tricks I learned from Coach Brancaccio and then Coach Caden, and then this year a little bit with Coach Louis.
Yeah, no, that's great. And again, you had tremendous success both individually, but also, as a team. Last year, 2019, you guys won the MAC championship. We'll start with you, Coach B. Talk to us a little bit about, going 15-0. You dropped that final game to Eastern, who's been our rival for so long. We haven't beat them. Then you go into the playoffs, you beat Misericordia, and you take down Eastern 14-13 to win the MAC championship and secure DeSales' first, NCAA tournament berth. How special was that season and that group of guys?
Yeah, I mean, that will forever be one of the most special days in my whole life. I'll never forget that day. And the work, I think the best part about it was the work that all the guys put in. It finally paid off and come into fruition. I knew when we played our fall lacrosse tournament, like I remember coming back into the office with the coaches and sitting down and being like, wow, we got something here this year, like for sure. And then the first game of the year, we beat Montclair State in double overtime, and that kind of set the pace, and that was huge. I think if we lose that game, our season's completely different. But we win that game, and we show a ton of heart. We show a lot of leadership, and our program took the next step because usually in those games, in Hutton, we've been on the wrong end of those overtime games for sure. And usually in those games, they haven't really fallen in our favor. And all of a sudden now things started to trickle in our favor because, we got guys like Frank and other guys who can contribute. And we started winning lacrosse games and we just went on a tear. And I think Frank and I shared a moment at that last regular season game at the end of Eastern. And he came up to me and said that, I'd rather have that ending and have a different storybook ending and win the MAC championship. And I think everything happened for a reason that year. We lost that last regular season game, and that propelled us to win in the MAC championship. I think that was the best thing that could have happened to us. We were winning games. We were 15-0 at that point, and then we were 15-1. And that last game refocused us for the playoffs. Losing that last game, kind of knowing that we're human guys. We gotta execute. We gotta play well. We have to play within ourselves and win lacrosse games the way we know how. And losing that last game to Eastern, I think, was so important to us winning the MAC championship.
Absolutely. And, talk a little bit about Frank too. You guys, just put things in perspective. You mentioned my class. We had never had a winning record at DeSales, and you guys, you went 15-0 at that point. We had come close, to still winning the MAC championship. But I think that, making that big leap is a testament to the group of guys you had. But Frank, how special was that moment for you?
So honestly, it really started before the year even started. We set goals for ourselves. First goal was to beat Montclair State, like Coach B said. And the second was to be over 500, and then the last was to win a MAC championship. So it really meant something to us that to get to that point of being over 500. We thought that'd be the next really big step in taking the program to the next level, which we always talk about, leaving the program in a better place. And the reason I think we were so successful is everybody worked together. It might be one game where the offense goes off and the defense doesn't play so great, or offense only scores 5 goals and the defense gives up 4. Like, we just worked so well together, and we had each other's backs throughout the whole year, and the chemistry was just there the whole year. And that last loss, it did sting a little bit, but it was like, all right, it's game on. Like, we're going out next week and we're going to beat Misericordia bad, and we did that, and we got our chance at revenge, and ultimately we won the MAC championship, which is achieving our last goal, which was awesome. I couldn't ask for a better junior year.
And you guys ended up losing in that first round, but it was to the eventual national champions in Cabrini too, which says a lot too, I think, about how the program kind of battled. Let's talk about the senior season. Really disappointing that it got canceled. I hate to bring up such fresh wounds, but Coach B, what was your reaction when you got the news that the season was being canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic?
It was really tough. I think definitely bittersweet. Because we were in Florida when everybody, the NESCAC, the Ivies, everybody started canceling NBA and NHL, and we were living normal lives in Florida on spring break. And then that Wednesday, I think NESCAC, we were still on spring break. We were supposed to leave Thursday. Wednesday, NESCAC told the country that they were discontinuing their season. And everybody kind of knew the chips were falling in the wrong direction. And then we got on the plane Thursday. And while we were on the plane Thursday and everybody had their planes off, the NCAA announced that there was going to be no championship season for spring sports. And then we got on the bus and I broke the news to the guys, and it was really, really tough. I think it was tough on them. It was tough on the coaching staff. I think overall bittersweet, though. I think now that the wounds have kind of healed up, I think at least these guys got to go out on top again, and I think that we're really fortunate as a program to have won in 2019 and to kind of feel like they were huge contributors to that. Our junior class was huge contributors to that. There's no doubt about it. In 2019, they were juniors. So I think that's really something that they can kind of hang their hats on a little bit. I know they all felt like they had unfinished business, but I think it's really, really bittersweet. Like, I can't stress that enough, honestly.
Yeah, and you guys are still the MAC champs, defending MAC champs until you guys are dethroned next season. But let's talk about, the pro side a little bit. Frank, you just signed that contract with the Philadelphia Barrage. I read the story about how you were a ball boy for the Philadelphia Wings for so long, idolizing Kevin Crowley growing up. You now have the opportunity to play with Crowley on the Barrage. How surreal has this whole experience been?
It's been unreal. I can talk a little bit about that. So when I was a kid, when the Wings, before they left to become New England, this is probably about 11 years ago now, I was a ball boy. Me and my brothers were. So we go down 3 hours before every game, and I specifically remember the one season where it was Kevin Crowley's first year. He was a rookie. And there's a lot of free time because it's 3 hours before the game, so some guys will just go out before and hit the ball against the boards or do whatever they want, get some extra shooting in. But he would always come out and spend time with us too, and that was always meant so much. And ever since then, I always looked up to him. Even before that, when he was at Stony Brook, if I didn't go to DeSales, I would have gone to Stony Brook because they had a really good medical program too. But also because of him, I thought he was the coolest guy. I don't know if I would have played lacrosse there. Maybe I would try to. But Kevin, he's always been somebody I've looked up to as like a person in lacrosse world. I think he's a very genuine person. He's a big Philly guy. He always has been ever since he played for the Wings, and he does so much in the Philly community. He's just a great guy to look up to. And I'm looking forward to really getting to know him when the time comes with the Barrage. But in terms of how the whole Barrage things came along, I got a text from Brian Harrington, who was an assistant at LaSalle, asking me if I was going to be interested in applying basically for the MLL draft. And if I was going to be doing my extra eligibility, and I'd let him know I wasn't going to be doing that. And then he asked me a couple other questions, basic things like height, weight, all that. And I put my name in for the draft, and I was like really excited. I was like, oh, maybe I'll be picked by the Barrage. And then 2 weeks went by. The draft came up on that Monday. And they had 10 picks. So I was like, oh, maybe I might really have a chance of getting picked. I didn't get picked, and I was kind of bummed. I was like, why did they even reach out to me if nothing's going to happen? But then 2 days later, I got a text from their head coach and GM, Spencer Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And he let me know, like, congratulating me. I was part of the Philadelphia Barrage, and it was just like a surreal moment. The first thing I did was I drove to DeSales, actually, and I just sat on the field. And I just thought about all the people that have gotten me to this moment. My parents, my brother, my 4 younger brothers supporting me throughout my whole career, high school, the people who stuck with me, Coach B giving me a chance, all my teammates I've had throughout the years that believed in me and put me in the best possible position. It was just a surreal moment, and I was so excited. And then the next day he actually called me and talked to me more about the Philly Barrage, what the expectations were. They didn't have the year they wanted last year, but they definitely had a lot of talent, and they definitely do. And then he let me know, they sent me the contract, and I signed it that Saturday, and then the rest is history.
It's awesome. It's great for the program too. And Coach, I know Frank, earlier you said Coach always preaches leave the program in a better place than when you got there. I know you preached that to us, Coach, when I was there. And tell us a little bit too, like what a signing like Frank's does for a program like DeSales, to have the first professional lacrosse player come from DeSales. Talk us a little bit about, your excitement when you got the news Frank was signing with the Barrage.
I mean, my excitement was for him. Like, that was my first instinct. Like, that's probably the coolest thing that could happen to any of our guys. So I was really excited for him. And the funny thing is, when he sent me a picture of it, I missed it. Because he sent me a text of a picture of the screenshot of the text that he got, and then he followed up with another question. I can't remember but I answered the other question. I must have been running around, and then like 2 days later, he was like, "Did you see my picture?" I was like, "What picture?" And then I called him. I was like, "I didn't. I just saw that now." And like we both got really excited over the phone, and then like started talking. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't be more proud of him. It couldn't have happened to a better guy. I mean, like you talked about a little bit earlier in this podcast, his mindset is just unbelievable, and he puts his mind to something, he's going to do it. So for the program, it's great. I mean, we've been getting a lot of recognition. People have been reaching out to me and congratulating me. I'm like, yeah, like I thank you. Like, I guess like it's great. Like he did all the work himself, like, and he pushed himself to get there. So it's great for our program to get the recognition. It helps in all stages. It helps the guys get excited about something, some type of silver lining in such like I said, bittersweet moment. But it's really great for Frank, and he loves the game of lacrosse. I know we tried everything to get him to come back. Both of us did, because he really wants to continue to play, and he loves the game of lacrosse. Then he got accepted into medical school, and we both had a conversation like, that's something you have to do. You can't pass this opportunity. And then all of a sudden, like, when God closes one door, he opens up another, and he opened up a door for Frank to play professionally, and we both got so excited about that, because I know how passionate he is about the sport, and how he wouldn't have played anywhere else, and I know he'll say that, because he wants to play at DeSales, and we tried to make that happen as best as we could, and he got the opportunity to go to medical school, and that's what's most important, right? So then all of a sudden the Barrage reached out, and now he's got another opportunity to play again. So yeah, I just couldn't be happier for him.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Pro Lacrosse Talk podcast. Today I want to talk to you about our sponsor, Anchor. We've been using Anchor for the Pro Lacrosse Talk podcast since the very start. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, and better yet, it's free. They allow you to easily record and edit your podcast, and once it's published, they send it out to all the major networks such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and many more. They also connect you with advertisers so you can start making money from your podcast right away. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast today, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Today I also want to talk to you about our affiliate Parkside Cards. Parkside Cards is your go-to source for Major League Lacrosse trading cards. They have a variety of packs on their website, including a box set that comes with 4 tickets to an MLL game, and a Lyle Thompson signature pack that comes with a limited edition signed Lyle Thompson card. And the best part is we've teamed up with Parkside Cards to provide you with a special discount. Simply visit parksidecards.com and use the code PLT to save 20% on your order today. Now let's segue a little bit into our 5 and 5 segment. I usually, what I do is just ask people individual 5 and 5 questions. This time around, I sent them to you guys ahead of time because we're going to play a little bit of a game. You guys are actually going to guess what the other person put. So see how well you guys know each other. So we'll start off with the first question I asked you both. And that's kind of, what is one thing that you do as far as your game day routine? So Frank, you'll be the guesser at first. The 3 different answers that could have been Coach B's are: he has a coffee the day of the game, he showers right before the game, or he calls his parents before each game. So which one of those is true?
It's got to be the coffee.
Yep, it's the coffee. And
Got
now
it.
for Frank either goes out on the field before the game and listens to his pregame playlist, he showers before the game, or eats a bowl of cereal.
That's a pregame playlist. That man has his headphones on, no helmet. He's the only guy with no helmet on the field.
Number 2. Now, we all went to DeSales here, so I asked you guys what your favorite class was during your time at DeSales. So Coach B, you're going to guess Frank's. Frank either enjoyed biology, anatomy, or organic chemistry. Which one?
He enjoyed Orgo-Chem probably because Mayville is his teacher.
That's it. Yep. He's the man. He came to every home game we had this year, actually. He's a great guy.
It's awesome. And then Coach B's favorite class during his time was either biology, anatomy, or biomechanics.
It's got to be biomechanics.
Yep. Number 3, I asked you guys what your guys' favorite lacrosse player was growing up. So Coach B put Mikey Powell, John Grant Jr., or Kyle Harrison. Which one of those was his favorite?
That's a really tough one. I want to say Mikey Powell, but I'm not going to say Kyle Harrison because Coach B was a midi, and I think he played a little bit more like him. Or no, you were a tackman, weren't you? I'm going to go Casey Powell then.
Mikey Powell is correct.
Oh, sorry, Mikey Powell, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. The speed probably had a lot to do. You know, Coach.
I still got that speed, Hutton.
Still got that speed, yeah. You didn't have the height, you didn't have the stature, but you got the speed. So
Hey.
I had to throw a little dig in there.
I know you did. I know.
Yeah. But for people that don't know, Coach not only coaches now at DeSales, he also are you the all-time leader in assists at DeSales still?
Yes. Yep.
So not to toot your own horn, but Coach B was quite the player during his DeSales.
You felt bad about the height jab, so you had to. Now you bring me back.
I did, yeah. This is a positive podcast, so I had to at least follow up with the positive. And then for Frank, who do you think Frank's favorite player was growing up? Was it Brody Merrill, Joel White, or Brian Spallina?
It's Brody Merrill.
Yep.
He's got a big poster above his bed. Huge life-size poster.
Fat head, yeah.
Back
when Brody Merrill was on the Hamilton Nationals in the MLL, there's a fat head of him. I got it when I was a kid, and it's right behind my bed.
And he's still playing at a high level, with the Seals and now the Water Dogs this summer. So it's crazy. I think he's one of the best in the game. I don't think his name gets talked about enough when we're discussing greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Because, you tend to focus on the offensive stats a little bit like John Grant Jr., Gary Gate, but I think, Brody Merrill's right up there with all of them.
He was another one of my favorite Wings players too growing up. He was on the Wings before they left, and then he ended up going to Toronto, and then when the Seals started up, going out there. So he's an awesome indoor guy too.
Absolutely. And then number 4, I asked you guys, let's see here. Number 4, I asked, where was your favorite venue to play lacrosse at? So the choices you have to guess for Coach B, Frank, are Hofstra, North Shore High School, or Stony Brook.
I'm going to say Stony Brook. Their new stadium is awesome. It's huge. I mean, I know it's a football stadium too, but it's a really nice turf field, and it has a bunch of stands, and I can't imagine if that place got in a little bit packed, it'd be a great venue.
You're so close. It's Hofstra.
No,
it was Hofstra. When I was in high school, if you made to the Long Island playoffs, Nassau, you went and played at Hofstra. And when I was there, like the whole high school came, and the stands were packed. It was awesome. But in Suffolk, you go to Stony Brook and play. So you weren't that good. You were off, but not that.
Yeah, I made it difficult. I put all Long Island locations. So look around you guys. And then for Frank, his 3 choices are Villanova Stadium, Under Armour Complex, or DeSales.
I mean, I'd have to say DeSales, right? Like that's just maybe not, but I got to go with it.
No, it was actually the Under Armour Complex down in Maryland. When I was at LaSalle, every year we play what's called the Fallen Heroes game, which is a game against DeMatha, and it honored Brendan Looney and Travis Mannion, who both.
Oh, cool.
Travis went to LaSalle, and Brendan went to DeMatha. And every year we would honor them by going down there and playing it. But we got to play at the actual Under Armour complex down there and see all of Under Armour's facilities and stuff. And then they have an actual field down there where they built. in one of the rougher areas in hopes to bring up the community, which is really cool. And the amount of people that went was awesome, and just the whole experience of how significant the Fallen Heroes game was, and all that just made it really cool experience. And I thought it was an awesome venue.
Yeah, no, that's great. I didn't even know that about that game. We just did a piece on kind of Brendan Looney's influence on some of the former DeMatha guys. So it's amazing too. Just, some of those guys like, Jimmy Regan, Brendan Looney that have, played lacrosse and then, sacrificed for their country. So I think that's great to kind of bring that up in this discussion as well. The fifth and final one for the lacrosse questions are, what is each of your guys' favorite lacrosse moment? Frank, you can guess Coach B's first. He has a playing moment and a coaching moment.
Mm.
So no choices. It's pretty obvious. I feel like you guys can guess, but what do you think his two favorite lacrosse moments were from coaching and playing?
Coaching, I know it's no doubt winning the MAC championship. Playing, I'm going to say I think he's talked to me a little bit about when they made the playoffs. It was a really big deal when he was there. So I would say that, making the playoffs when he was playing.
Yeah, I mean, senior year, we beat Messiah to propel us to the MAC playoffs for the first time in program history. So that was a really big playing moment for us, and it was a big moment for the program. So for sure, you're right on. And then obviously MAC championship.
Mm-hmm. And then what do you think Frank's moment was?
Yeah, be 2019 MAC championship.
Yep.
100%.
That was an easy one. I didn't have to give you guys any choices for that.
I think so. Yeah, that's 100% it, and that'll always be it. That was the best experience ever. What was really special too, in terms of like fans and stuff, is we had finals that Monday and the game was on a Saturday. And you'd think everybody would be students at least would be home studying for the finals, but it was unreal. I think they had 2 or 3 buses packed full of people, and it just made the atmosphere awesome. It was just it meant so much, like in so many ways. Winning, not just winning it, just the amount, the support we got, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that was awesome. I remember we had a ton of people there, and it was at Eastern, so we had a ton of people there already. And then about 5 minutes before the game time, 2 or 3 buses worth of students came from like the corner of the field where you couldn't see where they were coming from. They just like had signs, they were screaming, yelling, and like it made everything just that much more special for sure.
Yeah, no, I unfortunately wasn't able to attend, but I remember, watching the stream, and I knew a lot of people that were going, and, we had a lot of great memories when I was at DeSales, but honestly, that's still up on my list, even though I wasn't even part of that team, just because, what you guys did to kind of take that program to the next level. I think it's special and resonated with, not just the current classes, but, classes that came before as well. Going off of that, we'll do our off-the-field questions. So the first one, Frank, you're going to guess, what is Coach B's favorite activity to do when he's not coaching lacrosse? And it's either golf, tennis, or fishing.
Golf, not even close. He loves golf. He swears he can hit 400 yards every time.
The man loves golf. He knows me well.
Have you guys played golf together at all, or?
Not yet. We've talked about it though.
We'll have to all hit the links at some point. I'm a little rusty. I don't think I've been driving range in forever, and I've never been that good to begin with, but I can hold my own. And then with Frank, which activity do you think is his favorite, Coach B? Is it surfing, fishing, or hiking?
I think he's a big fisherman. He goes up to Long Island, the motherland, and goes fishing with the boys, does some fishing trips. So.
Yep, that's it. I love going out to Long Island and go up there fishing. We go out all the way out to the North Fork out in Orient, and go out there right by the lay house and do some jigging and get some striped bass and bluefish, which is always a really good time.
Awesome. And then number 2, Frank, what do you think Coach B's favorite sport to watch that's not lacrosse is? Is it hockey, basketball, or football?
Oh, wow. I'm surprised golf isn't on there because it's always on his TV in his office when you go in. But I'm going to go with football, even though he likes the New York Giants. Not a big Giants guy, but it's probably
You didn't even have to ask me the next question. This man loves the Eagles. He loves to watch football.
Yep. So I don't even have to ask that one. You guys have a little bit of a rivalry going, an NFC East rivalry?
Oh, yeah.
I've been winning for 4 years now, so it doesn't really matter.
Daniel Jones is on the comeback. All right. Giants are on the way up. Saquon, we're gonna contend.
Yeah, well, you guys are lucky you're in the NFC because it's all about Lamar Jackson and Big Trust. My cousin Lamar,
Front runner.
Oh, front runner. You know I've been Ravens fan forever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Don't start.
We'll see if he has the clutch gene this year, though. Doesn't fold in the playoffs for the second time.
Oh, second time, yeah. How has Carson Wentz done? Daniel Jones won't even see the playoffs.
Whoa! What about Eli Manning?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I just love how everyone's like, Lamar Jackson can't win in the playoffs, and he's only played in 2 playoff games. His first one was a huge dud. Last year, if you watched that game, you'd know he was the only reason they even came close to winning that game. But
still a little salty about it.
Oh, yeah, very salty. I don't know why the best run offense in the history of the NFL decided not to run the ball.
Yeah.
Let's just abandon the run in the first quarter, even though, we've had the most success than any other team. But, yeah, a little salty still. Moving on to number 3. Frank, where's Coach B's favorite place to vacation? Do you like to vacation at the beach? Does he like to go up to the mountains? Or does he just kind of stay at home?
He likes the beach out in Long Island.
Yep. And then as for Frank, where does Frank like to go? Does he like to go to Long Island, Jersey Shore, or Shenandoah Mountains?
No, we've established this. He goes to Long Island because he knows it's the best place on earth. Even though he was born in Pennsylvania, he still travels to Long Island and goes fishing on the North Shore.
Yeah, my favorite place is Long Island. My dad grew up there. My dad actually grew up in Garden City, but we go up out east more to Cutchogue, right by Greenport, and they got breweries out there, wineries. Like I'm not really all into that, but it's just like a beautiful place out there. And it's just very peaceful to be able to go to the beach and just sit in the beach and hang out. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping everything starts to open back up a little bit more so we can get a proper summer in.
Yeah.
Going off of that, number 4, what is Coach B's favorite meal? Is it steak, a hamburger, or pasta?
I'm gonna go with a nice steak. Turn on a nice steak, nice fillet. I'd say you're more of a New York strip guy, though.
Ribeye.
Ribeye? Okay.
What do you, medium rare?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta be.
I would say when anyone says medium well about steak, I don't think they know steak.
No.
And then what do you think Frank's favorite meal is? It steak, chicken parm, or a Wawa hoagie?
Oh, that's tough. You put some good ones in there. I guess probably steak. The man has refined taste.
I love steak, but boy, do I love good chicken parm.
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to say that. I did, but I went with the steak.
All those choices are great too, because whenever we go on away games, what I do is I go
always puts a bag of Wawa.
Big ass sub, and I eat it on the bus. So that's a good one to throw on there too. But but I do love steaks too. But I love cooking. Funny story in my house, my roommate Vince, he can't cook for his life, so I cook every night. And so like our agreement is I cook and he just does all the dishes. So I'm a big cook. I love cooking different things. Chicken parm is probably one of my favorite things to cook though.
And what about you, Coach? Are you more of a cook at home guy or do you like to dine out?
No, for sure. We cook every night here.
Gotcha. And then my final one, I'm going to change it up a little bit for each of you guys because you both gave slightly different answers. We kind of kept it open-ended. We usually ask what people's favorite book, podcast, or movie is. So, Frank, you're going to guess Coach's favorite book. Is it either hold on, let me pull up the choices. Is it either Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, Getting to Us by Seth Davis, or Hoop Dreams?
I have no idea. Never seen Coach B pick up a book in his life. I'm going to go with Hoop Dreams because it sounds like a sporty, coachy kind of book.
No, I was actually Getting to Us. I read that book right before the 2019 season, and I really tried to emulate a lot of the things that Seth Davis talks about. He talks about each coach having like their peak, and that's just an acronym for persistence, empathy, authenticity, and knowledge. So he was an interviewer for CBS for like 25 years in the sports world, and interviewed some of the most, and was around some of the most famous, most successful coaches in the world. So I just read a bunch of the things, and I think the one thing that really stuck with me that I got from that book is he interviewed all these different guys, and they were all so different but so successful. And the one thing that resonated was just be yourself. If you're an emotional coach, like be emotional. If you're a strict coach, be strict. And if you're like a loose guy, be loose. And I think that was like the one thing I took into the 2019 season. I wasn't going to let like things around me affect practice. I was just going to be myself at practice. And I'm a keep it loose type of guy. If we have to tighten it up a little bit, then I tighten it up. But I like to keep things like loose and energetic. So that was a really good book for me to read before we got into that season for sure.
And I'll have to pick that up. Not a coach myself, Adam is, but I think that's kind of interesting. But we asked that question actually because we get a lot of recommendations for our own reading list. So that's a good
for sure. It's a little redundant, but it's a good one for sure.
And then for Frank's, I'm going to actually do movies. So which is Frank's favorite movie? Is it Coach Carter, Rudy, or Invincible?
I was going to say Rudy until you said Invincible because it just got to be a Philly thing. So probably Invincible.
Invincible is a great movie. And I actually met Paul, and he has kids who play lacrosse, and I'd meet him at different Eagles games, Vince Papale, and he's a really cool guy, and he loves lacrosse actually, and his kids play in South Jersey. I'm not sure where, but he was really cool to talk about it because I always say I play lacrosse, and I'd see him do some Eagles games. But my favorite movie is actually Coach Carter. But this whole story of Coach Carter is just something that's awesome, and I can relate so much to it in my 4 years at DeSales, especially with you, Coach B. Like, he came into it, like, not that you came in when I came in, but he changed the whole program. And that's cool, not only in how they played, like in their athletics, but in their lives and in their academics. Like, he changed all of them. He put academics over athletics, and ultimately winning the best for all the people on his team. And I think you do a great job with that at DeSales. You always stress that the classroom is just as, if not more important than getting out in the field. And in our 4 years, you've seen that progression into this year where we've finally reached our goal of getting over a 3.0 as a team GPA. And that's not easy, having 50 plus guys. And it starts at the top with you, and it trickles down to people tutoring different guys and all that. And ultimately, it's going to help all the people on our team to have great lives and be successful alumni from DeSales, like you see with Hutton. So it's that's why that movie really talks to me, and I think it's just a great movie overall.
I think that's definitely a big point. I think, you really did, Coach, put an emphasis on the student and athlete part of being a student athlete. And I think, the program's in great hands. It's crazy that it's been 4 years since I've been there. But you can already see how many, leaps and bounds the program has made. And, I'm looking forward to, big things coming in the future, and that first NCAA playoff win, and, hopefully, NCAA championship down the road. I think you guys dream big. And I think that's what you did a good job of, Coach, is really having our team aspire to higher goals than, what we were used to. And I think you can just look at the 4 years since I've been gone and see how many, strides the program has made to see how that's, been successful. So.
Well, thank you guys. That means a lot. I think that's the reason why we get into coaching, is the relationships you make along the way. And obviously we made 2 great ones here. And it's something really special for sure. And it means a lot for sure. I can't say enough of how much that means. And the program is definitely moving forward. And we had a great GPAs this year. And like Frank said, and like you said, Hutton, but that doesn't happen without some special people being a part of it, and coaches can set the standards and the expectation, but you have to have the right guys on the program in order to be successful. And I would love to take all the credit, but that's not how it works. And it's you guys who really set the foundation for the program. Hutton, we don't win a 2019 MAC championship without you building the foundation, and setting those standards. So for sure, I can't thank you guys enough for how you just spoke about us in the program.
No, I appreciate that. Well, that wraps up our 5 and 5 segment. I like to end on one final question that I'll ask you both each. And that is, what is some advice that you have for young players looking to one day play lacrosse professionally?
First of all, never give up. If you know my story, if I would have given up, I wouldn't be anywhere close to where I am now. Always try to persevere through the tough times, and things might not always work out. But another thing is stick to what you're really good, like what you're good at. Keep sharpening that pencil, I guess you would say, and get really good at your craft, but also work on the things you're not that good at. But the thing that you're really good at is what's going to make you stick out and makes you the valuable player that you are. going back to our championship team, everybody had something they were really good at, and we all meshed together. You don't have to be the best lacrosse player at everything, but if you can nail down one thing and be a great teammate, then you really have a good chance of making it pretty far.
I mean, like Frank just said, you don't have to be the best lacrosse player to give effort. I think effort is something that's so underrated. If you can go out and know you walk on the lacrosse field, walk off the lacrosse field every day, knowing I gave everything I got, and the coaches are going to know that, and you're just going to become a competitive lacrosse player. You're going to be playing at a different level and speed than everybody else. But I would say the one thing that you got to remember along your career, no matter what time it ends, is the relationships you make and the doors that lacrosse opens for you. That's something really special. And I think you can kind of look at that by the three of us sitting here right now talking, like Hutton, I know you and I talk on more often than just this podcast. And Frank, I know you and I are talking weekly right now. So the relationships I know you guys probably remember the relationships that you've been making with your teammates, but the relationships you make with other people that you just met throughout the lacrosse world is so important, and you'll have them forever. So definitely the relationships you make along the way. There's only one team that gets to hold up the championship trophy at the end of the year, and that's we're going to do everything we can to make sure that's us. But if we don't, what do we do along the way to improve ourselves and the relationships?
No, I think that's great. I think that's a testament to, what type of program DeSales is, that we have these connections. I can come on a podcast with you guys and talk about this because I have the relationships. I never played with you, Frank, but I feel like just in interacting with you a few times at alumni events, and talking to Coach B, we have that relationship already. So appreciate you guys hopping on. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed, taking a trip back down memory lane a little bit and talking about the program, and looking forward to big things from the Philadelphia Barrage this summer.
Thanks, Hutton.
Today I also want to talk to you about Tomahawk Shades. Tomahawk Shades have an array of both quality sunglasses and blue light glasses at a fraction of the cost of popular sunglass brands. Their blue light glasses are perfect for guys like me who spend hours looking at a computer screen when editing. They also have a great collection of sunglasses with pro athletes like Kylie Ohlmiller, Kyle Harrison, Mike Chanichuk, and Chris Hogan repping the brand. So if you want a pair of the shades the pros wear, visit TomahawkShades.com and use the code PLT20 to save 20% on your order today.